Hi, thanks for joining our webinar. I'm going to talk to you today about how a blog can help you to win business and improve your company's reputation, give you personality, and bring your whole business to life. If you ever thought of blogs as being about what you had for breakfast, we're going to dispel all those sorts of images and show you how it's a really good strategic business tool. So what we're going to cover is, I've got a few stories for you today, exactly showing how a blog can help your business. It'll show you how we won £100,000 of new business from our blog. It'll show you how to become top ranked. That becomes #1 in the world on Google searches from your blog. And I'm going to show you 3 ways that a blog can help your business. So I'm talking here about thought leadership blogs. That's a sort of maybe grand word, but it's sort of demonstrating your expertise in whatever field. So you could be a business leader or an expert, a scientist. It could be your marketing teams explaining about your business. Professionals and academics, you could be a lawyer or an accountant, and even journalists. They use blogs a lot as a different way of telling stories and giving their own profile. So this is real business. Just to explain a little bit about my background, I've been running Northern Lights PR for 20 plus years. I'm a BBC expert woman on social media, business and education, and I used to be a director of Ernst & Young, and I sit on several boards, universities and Northern Ballet, and I'm an author and conference speaker. So what you'll see is that I'm not here about excitable chitter-chatter on the internet and sort of being excited about social media for its sake. But what I want to show you is that this is a really good strategic business tool. Okay, we're going to talk about 3 stories and how they could help you. Although I've used business examples here, just think about them as being an example of the process and how they could help anybody really. Okay, the first story is just recently somebody rang us, well in fact they emailed us and said, I've been recommended and given your name. He was the general counsel for a very large corporate, and he'd recently been on a training course for lawyers explaining about the social media risks, if you like, and he said to me, I need to look at our policies. Could you help us to look at our bullying and harassment policies? I thought that was a slightly strange place to start in social media. But I said, look, I can help you on this, most definitely. And I'd already written a blog about some of the risks here. Can you see this blog that I've given you the example? Is your company at risk from your employees using social media? And I had already thought through what the risks were to companies and how boards should address those issues. And this is not what you'd put necessarily on your website, but it brought it to life, and I gave some tips about how boards should handle this and also how they should address their social media policy for their employees. So I'd already done all the thinking, but I'd written it in a really helpful way with some tips and ideas in there. And so I was able to send that straight back and explain what we do. And he came back and went, oh gosh, that's really speedy. It's exactly what I'm wanting. And the first 2 points, I've only skimmed it, but the first 2 points exactly demonstrate the sorts of things I was thinking about. Let's talk further. And within, I think, about 3 days, he's agreed for us to go in and work with the board. We've agreed to do a workshop and sort of help them to look at all their policies and look at the implications within the business. So that's how a blog can be used to explain something within your business in a way that your customers and clients are thinking about it. Okay, story number 2. We recently, well, earlier this year, got a call from somebody who worked for a really global giant, and it was the northern base of the company. And they were looking for somebody to help them with internal communications. Excuse me. Excuse me, I do apologize. And they had done a search for a PR company, internal communications. and we came up top on that search, even though we're a very small business and we don't do lots of things on our website to make us come top of Google rankings. But what's happening is that because we write regularly about certain topics in our blog, these are helping us to come top of Google rankings. So can you see where I have just highlighted here? This was one of our blogs. And can you see the title? It says, what role does internal communications play with your customer? So Google has found those words, internal communications, and that's helping us to be found. And because a blog is very dynamic and you tend to update them usually once a week for a business, might be more regularly for individuals, but that is helping us to be found on Google when people search. And this has turned into a major 3-year contract. Now, the blog on its own isn't winning us that contract. We have to have that credibility. They rang up a number of companies and we had to go and pitch for it. So you've got to be credible and what people want to buy at the end of it all. But how do you get found for that initial phone call? That's the bit that we all find so hard, isn't it? And this is how our blog is really starting to help us now. And we're getting increasing number of calls because we're coming up when people search. This is a different sort of story and shows how our blog can help bring personality to your business, and it can help in recruitment. We've been followed now for a year or two by a number of people who I think probably want to work with us, and they're very good at engaging with us. They leave comments on our blogs, they retweet our blogs, they're just often there in our profile, and they almost feel like they're part of our team. So recently, when we were looking for a new member of our team, we thought about those people who've been, if you like, loyal to our business, and we went out to them and in fact offered a job to somebody. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone further in that particular case because the distance isn't right. But can you see here how you're building relationships with people to help your business? I mean, obviously the new business side of it you can do as well, but also much wider community, that people get to know you in a way you would never really follow a website because there isn't enough interesting on the main part of your website. It's the blog that's bringing things to life and making your business seem interesting, helpful and appealing. Okay, so just to sum up what we've been talking about, why should you blog? First of all, because you can win new business. It helps you to be found on Google. Google is changing the way that it does its searches, and a blog is becoming absolutely critical to helping websites to become dynamic, lively, and all the things that Google wants to see. It's called having rich content. That's sort of things that are really helpful to the people who are reading it. It explains to your existing clients what else you do. You know, we all do lots of extra things. Do you always tell your clients this is what we can help you with? It gives personality and a voice and shows your expertise to everybody, as I was saying, to people who might want to work with you, to potential clients. And of course, on the internet, you're not just available to your local market, you're national and you're international in your exposure. Somebody that we work with gets regular work now from America and Canada because of his blog. It can help you with employee engagement internally. And as I showed, it saves you on recruitment costs, or it can do. So we're just going to show you some of these things about the reality of these searches I was telling you about. Northern Lights, my business, this shows how we now come, if you do a search on Google, we come #1 in a search for social media for housing associations. And if you come #1 on anything on Google, it helps you generally. They start putting you into a different sort of category so that generally your website and your blog is all becoming very credible and is coming generally higher in searches. So you can see here that you can see our blog on housing associations is what's appearing first in that search. We get guest blogs from people. It's a great way of spreading the load of blogging, and it's a very good way for increasing your credibility and your reach and engaging with other people. And can you see here, Johnny Ross is somebody we work with, and he wrote a blog for us. It was answering a client's question, actually, what's a good bounce rate for a website? And in fact, this is one of our most popular blogs. And we now, if you search for SEO bounce rate, our blog comes up #1 with Johnny's guest blog for us. And then we've got here media training PR blogs. We come up, can you see down there, we're #3 on that search. And that's because we've written lots of blogs on media training tips. This comes back to the bit that I'm a BBC expert woman, and I've shared some of my tips of doing TV and radio interviews. And then this was the search that helped us to win that business. Excuse me. We've got PR companies' internal communications. If you were to search for this, you can see we come up #7 globally. Can you see down there? And you see that little image down the bottom? That's relating to our blog. And because we've linked our blog onto Google, it's called Google Authorship, the image of the blogger comes up there, and that means that it looks slightly more appealing perhaps than some of the other content, even though that one is only #7 globally. But of course it came up #1 for the north of England, which is where we're based. So just looking then to sum up this, what is a blog? It's what Google calls rich content, so it's full of useful information that people want to read. A good blog should have views, questions, share best practice, experiences, give people tips, insights into an issue. If you like, it's a dynamic part of your website. You update it regularly. I said earlier on that typically you would say probably once a week. And it should be topical and very relevant to the audience. And perhaps an important part of it, you can comment and share it. On the whole, these days, you get fewer comments on the blog itself, but we get lots and lots of comments on LinkedIn and Twitter when we post these, and often we use the blog to ask a question, to get a conversation going, and to share experiences amongst our community. This bit I just thought I would mention is to understand search engine optimization, SEO it's called. And that's the bit about getting high up on Google. So in a blog, you want to think about what might people be searching for. There are lots of tools that you can get somebody who really understands the detail of this to do that. But just as an example, just have a think about what did you last search for on Google? So perhaps it was something like, the best Indian restaurant. I've put New York here, but it might be in your own town, or if you've gone on holiday, you're looking for a restaurant. You might be searching for a professor of economics, so somebody who's an expert who can come in and advise your business. Or you might be, as I've just been recently, looking for a graphic designer. So often you search for somebody because perhaps you're looking for somebody with new specific skills there. We all use Google the whole time. And every time somebody does a search, that's opportunity for business for you, whatever your expertise is. And that's where the blog can help you to come up top of those sorts of searches. So what I'm going to explain now is the inside secrets of blogs. How does all of that work? So the critical bit that we've been talking about are these key words for your business. So you need to include those when you're writing the blog. Do you remember earlier on I mentioned internal communications? So you want to be writing about things that somebody might want help with in your business. You need to include hyperlinks. Hopefully you know what that means. When you go onto a website and you hover over something, it clicks through to another site. So you need to be putting those sorts of hyperlinks into your blog, and to be giving tips and asking questions to make your blog feel lively. So how does that work in practice? I've taken a blog here that we wrote a while ago and just shown you some of the ingredients. All of this, by the way, is covered in our new ebook, How to Write a Top-Ranked Business Blog. But let me just sort of run you through this a little bit. You've got the topical issue in the news at the time. So we've made the blog topical. That's about Paris Brown. She was a young teenager who was the first teenage police commissioner, and she had a poor Twitter profile. So this was about something topical in the news at the time, and it was something that I feel quite passionate about, that all senior people need to understand social media so that they're managing it in their businesses. So this was reflecting on what was the problem and what can chief executives learn from it. So at the top you'll see 5 social media lessons. That's a bit of a trick, and we explain it in our ebook about doing headings that people want to read, and the numbers are quite helpful. And I've done hyperlinks in here to the topical stories, and I've also done a hyperlink to some information on our website which explains what we do in this context. Then this is further down in the blog. I've done a 5-step plan here to help readers to think, what should we be doing in our own business? I've used some personal anecdotes to bring the story to life, and I've done a call to action in here. This particular one I did is perhaps a bit more salesy than we would normally do, but you kind of want to be thinking about getting people to read a blog and think about how you can help them, so that they give you a call, if you like. That's one of the things you hope eventually that people will want to do when they've read your blog. And then I've got more hyperlinks here. I've got some images in here to bring it to life. So I found some research, and I've given them the acknowledgement of where I got that research from. And I said it was a 5-point plan, so I've got 5 tips in here about your plan. And I finished the blog with a question to encourage people to comment and debate the issue. So those are that's how a proper strategic sort of blog might work. There's no formula exactly, but this is some of the things that we've put together with what works. So here's our summary. Again, this is in the ebook for you. Our summary of what makes a good blog. You start off, you really need a good focus. Why would somebody read it? You need a structure to it with subheadings, the hyperlinks that I mentioned, and the keywords. You want what's called vulnerability. You want it to be not the ultimate expertise in that subject. You want people to think about and to offer you views and to start a conversation with you. Bring it to life with good images and videos, and finish off with this question or a bit of controversy. You might challenge the reader. What do you think about it? Or I disagree with whatever, and get people to sort of engage with your blog. So we're trying an experiment here to see, can we get onto the Amazon bestseller list for a day? And for one day only, we're selling our ebook for just £2.13. You can get more from our website, northernlightspr.com. We've written a blog about what we're trying to do, so do tell us your views on it, and we will also share with you, if we do manage to do this, we'll explain what we've done and share with you back again. So we'd love your help in this. I've put everything I know about blogging into this ebook, so and that's 5 years of experience, plus from people all around the world have shared their experiences and tips for you. So we haven't been able to find anything at all like this out on the internet. So it's a one-off ebook, and it will really help your business. If you can buy it from Kindle, and if you don't have a Kindle to read an ebook, you can still do that on your computer or on your tablet or your smartphone. So here are the tips. You go to the relevant app store and download it, and then when you open the store, search for our new ebook, which is called How to Write a Top-Ranked Business Blog, and then you can read it on your computer or your tablet or your smartphone. So good luck with your blogging. On our website, there are lots of other ebooks which might be of help to you, and please do read our ebook. Buy it on Tuesday the 19th of November for just £2.13. I really hope it helps your business. Please give us feedback if it helps you, if you've got other ideas to share. We love having your stories. If we get lots of stories from people who are bloggers and they can share that, we'll use your stories in our next ebook. Thank you so much, and good luck.